Transfiguration, the Lord commissioned 72 disciples and sent them on ahead in pairs to every city and place he was about to go. He said to them, "The harvest is bigger than you can imagine, but there are few workers. Therefore plead with the Lord of the harvest to send out workers for his harvest. Go. Be warned, though, that I'm sending you out as lambs among wolves. Carry no wallet, no bag, no sandals. Don't even greet anyone along the way. Whenever you enter a house, first say, 'May peace be on this house.' If anyone there shares God's peace, then your peace will rest on that person. If not, your blessing will return to you. Remain in this house, eating and drinking whatever they set before you, for workers deserve their pay. Don't move from house to house. Whenever you enter a city and its people welcome you, eat what they set before you. Heal the sick who are there, and say to them, 'God's kingdom has come upon you.' Whenever you enter a city and the people don't welcome you, go out into the streets and say, 'As a complaint against you, we brush off the dust of your city that is collected on our feet. But know this, God's kingdom has come to you. Whoever listens to you listens to me. Whoever rejects you rejects me. Whoever rejects me rejects the one who sent me." The 72 returned joyously, saying, "Lord, even the demons submit themselves to us in your name." Jesus replied, "I saw Satan fall from heaven like lightning. Look, I have given you authority to crush snakes and scorpions underfoot. I have given you authority over all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. Nevertheless, don't rejoice because the spirits submit to you. Rejoice instead that your names are written in heaven." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ.
Please be seated. Just the other day, our treasurer, David Gunberg, and I spent 3 hours doing something called a parochial report. The parochial report, required by the National Church, is this document which reports how many members we have here in the church. Now that sounds easy enough, but it's really not. We simply can't count heads and send in a number. You see, the National Church has various categories of membership. First, there are active baptized members, who are any persons whose baptisms are recorded in the register of the church membership and contributes to or participates in the worship and communal life of the congregation, regardless of how much or how little. Then there are communicants in good standing. And then these are people who are all baptized members who have received Holy Communion in this church at least 3 times. That's because Christmas and Easter don't count, you see. 3 times in the preceding year, and have been faithful in corporate worship unless the good cause prevented, and in working, giving, and praying for the spread of the kingdom of God. Then there are those persons who are active, but whose baptisms are not recorded in the parish register. And then there are those who are active but are non-members, because perhaps they're not Christian, but are active in the life of the parish and attend services. And then there are non-active members, and then there are what is called the basket of deplorables. They are the racist, the sexist, the homophobe, the Sunday golfer, the parent who drops off his or her child for Sunday school and then takes off to Starbucks for an hour before returning to pick up their children surreptitiously in the far end of the parking lot. And finally, the person who comes for the free coffee and donuts. And finally, there are those who are baptized members whose names are recorded in the parish register, who never come to anything, no pledge, and then they show up when they want their child or grandchild baptized or married or buried. These are the inactive members. So David and I decided to transfer the membership of all these persons to some neighboring churches in the area. The entire process is one giant OCD procedure. You are a member of the church, according to Paul, by virtue of your awakening to God. One's membership is invisible. The real church is the invisible church, known only by God. If you are sufficiently awakened, then attendance doesn't matter. Being baptized or not being baptized doesn't mean anything. Nor does receiving Holy Communion. It means nothing, but it means everything also. Now let me try to unwind this Gordian knot which Paul has tied, and he preached to the Galatians. The other day I went over to the AAA office in Northridge. You see, in a month our son Michael will be finishing his time in Iraq. We, our daughter-in-law and grandkids, will meet him in Amsterdam and then spend some time touring Amsterdam and Belgium. And then spend some time together, as I said, in Amsterdam and Belgium. But prior to meeting the family, my wife Janice and I decided to spend a few days in Edinburgh, pronounced Edinburgh, which I will never get straight. How did they get Edinburgh, whatever. So I needed some help setting up the plane flights, which were complicated, so I went over to the AAA office. At the end of a couple of hours, the AAA travel agent was reviewing my itinerary, and I was intently listening and looking at her. It's when I suddenly became aware that I was aware of her eyes in the act of seeing me. In other words, I saw her seeing me. These glass-like vitreous orbs called eyes have the ability to see color, see shapes, 3D movement, everything. I was overwhelmed with the thought of our eyes being able to see. We humans cannot make a human eye. Not only that, what an amazing idea to create in the first place. As long as eyesight is diminished with age, I just suddenly, in that moment, in the office of a AAA travel agent, became awakened to the fact of the miracle of the human eye. And just as suddenly I was overcome with this incredible sense of gratitude. Thank you, God. Thank you, Creator, Essence, Ground of all being. The best I can say was, it was an awakening. A realization that I had certainly thought of before in my life, but this time my awakening penetrated my soul. Paul tells us that it is this experience of being awakened, when it occurs in relation to God, is what constitutes membership in the body of Christ. How exactly do we count this for the national church? In current parlance, the word for awakening is woke. I'm sure you've heard the word woke before. It means become aware, an awakening, specifically to racial oppression of African Americans, but also to apply more generally to intersectional discrimination with respect to the oppression of gays, lesbians, transsexuals, non-binary persons, and any person of color or minority status, and it refers to those persons who are on the cutting edge of the progressive movement. The word originated with the Black Lives Movement. However, the word actually began with Paul 2,000 years ago. A woke person was a person who responded in faith to a proclamation of the message and content of God in Christ. Upon hearing the message of God's love and giving of self in Christ, one's faith was awakened. One saw with one's inner eye the meaning of Jesus' message. According to Paul, Jesus was God's wisdom on earth. The self needing to be saved from ourself is accosted by the word, which offers an alternative way of thinking, an alternative way of being, and calls for a response. The response that is appropriate is heeding. The word makes a claim on the hearer, and the hearer responds not merely by intellectual assent, but through being and action. The awakening energizes the will. The primary response Paul sought was not consent to the truth of his statements, but rather personal entrustment of the self to what the gospel announced. It was a commitment of the self to the message, to Christ. Such an awakening encourages trust. To trust a person is to rely on that person, and to allow oneself to be shaped by that person on a deep level. For the object of trust shapes the truster. To trust a message is to rely on it, to act on it, to be shaped by it. And the more radical the message, the deep the response. In fact, who we are is determined by whom and what we trust or distrust. Our identity is constituted by the pattern and network of trusts, the configuration of that to which we are committed because we deem it trustworthy. That in which we, Christian members, trust are grounded in what we call God and functions as God, even if one is not explicitly or constantly religious. If you understand the meaning of the word woke in our current vernacular, then you understand this awakening that I'm talking about. It's a very act of awareness to something much deeper than the human eye can see. And it comes upon you from the outside. It's something which accosts you. And when you experience it, you feel connected to the core of your being. You become it. It is home. Suddenly you understand the statement that you are in Christ, so you live Christ, which is the opposite of living Christ in order to be in Christ. And this is the reason for Paul saying being circumcised or not being circumcised doesn't mean anything. Paul's not telling the Galatians not to be circumcised because he doesn't want to continue on with a specifically Jewish rite. Rather, he's saying that if you are awakened, you know the love of God in your heart. God has taken over your core. There's nothing left to do to increase God's acceptance and love of you, so stop trying to work your way into heaven. I tell people all the time, people who come requesting baptism for their children, especially those whom we don't see on a regular basis, or who come out of nowhere requesting baptism, that having your child baptized is not going to get them into heaven. If that's their idea, then it's just bad theology. Being circumcised or not being circumcised doesn't mean anything, shouts Paul. Likewise, being baptized and not being baptized doesn't mean anything either. It doesn't mean anything if you think by sprinkling water on your child's head, thus this child is going to be granted eternal salvation, or just the opposite if they're not baptized. To tell parents that their child is destined to hell because a child is not baptized is child abuse. And having a child baptized and never showing up again in church means that you have lied to all the people of the congregation who are witnessing the baptism, promised to support that child in their life in Christ. And you did it in church, and you did it in the name of God. Theologically, the demand for circumcision takes on many forms. Baptism is one. But it also includes any time we think we need to do something to get God's acceptance and God's love. Paul is arguing against those persons who think the way to salvation runs through our control of doing good things versus an awakening where our felt the day you fell in love with the love of your life. Living out your life in Christ is not a means to an end, but it is the daily actualization of the end already reached. You are alive in Christ, and thus you live in Christ. You don't strive to live by Christ in order to be in Christ. Do you understand the difference? Now the next question is a lot harder to answer. It's harder because words get in the way. So I'm going to cry. And the question is, then how do you become awakened? Well, how do woke people of today become woke? And the answer is involved. And let me give you an example. A week ago, my wife Janice and I spent a week of vacation with our 9-year-old granddaughter, Olive. Being with her reminded me, since it's been a long time, being a parent that way, how hard parenting is. Much of parenting is teaching, you see. It's teaching these young bundles of human flesh how to be excellent at being a human being. For about a year now, I've been committed to sending Olive a book every single month, book of the month. I think reading is the gateway to learning, which is the gateway to awakening. Through books, one can enter the past. You can vault into the future. You can laugh and cry. You can chills up your spine. And above all, you learn more than your daily life will offer. And I don't care if she actually read, or she listens on audible. And at this point, she does pretty well, such reading. But truth be told, she would eschew her book for playing on her iPad or her iPhone. And I get it. You know, for me, TV was my first option over any book I was to read. And yet, I believe that exposure to reading and even the encouragement of reading over an electronic device with a bit of Nutella crepe as a carrot at the end of the stick is apropos. If I believe that someday, she will hear of a certain book, or she'll walk by Powell's bookstore and be drawn in, and like what happened to me the other day at AAA will happen to her. The books will speak to her. She will see the life learning offers, and the Nutella crepe for reward won't be required. She will awaken. This is how it happens. If you're open to seeing life around you for more than materialistic life around you, but instead filled with the essence of creation, then that essence will speak to you as it does every picosecond of every day. We just aren't listening. And we're too busy worrying about the faux circumcisions in which we must partake in order to have meaning or salvation. Attention to the sights and sounds of your life, for they are all whispering your name, the good ones and the painful ones. A great awakening awaits you. How exciting can that be? But just remember to tell either David or me so we can mark you down as either awakened or unawakened on our membership